is Professor Okey Ikechukwu, Executive Director of Development Specs Academy, a leadership and governance consultant agency based in Abuja. Good morning, Professor Ikechukwu, and thank you very much for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Ruben. Glad to be here once again.
Good to see you.
To see what we can say about our country. Yeah, good to see you guys. Rufai and Ayo.
Good morning.
Sir.
Morning, sir.
Okay, the Jele himself.
Good morning. Yeah.
I know you've been monitoring the situation.
Tell them.
Yes. So, what's your take on the movement of Kwankwaso and Peter Obi to the NDC, and then the crisis in the ADC that has forced Peter Obi and Kwankwaso to jump, to defect, to port? And then this latest information from the PDP, that the PDP looks set for another round of litigations, which may keep that party out of the 2027 process. Your thoughts?
I think that, first of all, the movement is a positive development, not because Peter moved or Kwankwaso moved, or that Peter and Kwankwaso were able to find a common front, but the fact that we are seeing the possibility of genuine democratic combat. Nobody was looking in the direction of NDC. Everybody was looking at ADC on the assumption that between Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar and maybe one or two other people, they will slug it out and one person will get the ticket. Now, the challenge with the ADC platform, there are several challenges, but one major one was the failure of the party to express any opinion on whether the zoning of the presidency exists in that party or not. The other problem was that even if you're talking about zoning, dispositionally, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was, quote and unquote, going to contest, determined to contest, resolved to contest, because he sees that as his last chance. So if you're speaking in the name of equity and saying, well, you know, let the South do 8 years, that was not part of the conversation his team was putting on the table, at least some of them I spoke with. And there was also the impression that the misfortunes of the ADC is connected with the presence of Peter Obi in that party. That probably is like a way, remain a little vague, but let everybody come in. When we get to the point where it will be difficult to explain, for you to find another platform, then we play a MasterCard. By then, Peter Obi will be in the cage. Since he's in the cage, we send him to the section of the cage where there's no grass to chew. And then Atiku Abubakar will very probably pick Amechi, South, or Makinde, I think, yeah. And if you look at the pattern too, the last election, the perception for those of us and all of you, who take time to evaluate these things, quite frankly, that election, the money from that election, for that election came from Delta and who was his chairman from the South? So that's where this funding was sourced. Where is he going to get it now? But moving on to the movement of Peter Obi, in Igbo, that's what you call osondo, running for your life. And also, there's the extension of that expression, osondo agwike, the man or woman who is running for his life does not get tired for as long as there's danger. There's a more modern version of it, which is still a proverb, that a woman who is being chased by a lion, a model who is being chased by a lion, does not do catwalk. She will even throw away her shoes. That's where Peter Obi has found himself, and he has moved on to a platform which a lot of people didn't see coming, and which holds the prospect of giving us genuine contest in 2027. Now, those who have to recalibrate are APC and the other parties. Scenarios can be examined, supposing because the argument is now on the table that, look, these people, here they are again, the opposition is splitting itself too thin, and so the APC will gather the bulk votes, the votes that will go to either Peter or Atiku to defeat the party will now be split into pieces and the party will still win. Here is a possible alternative scenario. The parties decide at the last minute, and that is by genuine consultation, if they are serious, gentlemen, among themselves, how do we save our country? If you really believe that this country should be taken onto another platform of leadership. Do you suppose our approach will make it? If we insist on all of us going, it means that none of us trust the other. It means that none of us is broad-minded. We can have a government where all those supposedly brilliant ideas we have can be put into one party. Let's go to this election. Let's support only one candidate. Or as we approach, let's step down. That is doable. But the personal ambitions of course, I'm not expecting that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar will attend such a meeting or that he will stay to the end if that's the proposal on the table. Now, that is what actually is doable. But whether the political maturity, broad-mindedness exists for them to think of going to that election in order to form a coalition government, a rainbow government, is another matter. So those are my initial comments on that. NDC, unavoidable, very smart. That's what you call, Ruben, you say the potting. I think is what you call strategic potting with precautions in case there are countermeasures by those you're potting from. PDP is wrecked completely. Everybody knew that. And even the court judgment that established which one is the leadership, most of us saw how it was likely to go. Now is not preparing to contest this election at all. It will be mired in controversy.
Okay.
If the experience with Wike from the last election to today is such that Wike forced, I was surprised that 3 months after the election, Wike was still a member. All right, yes, go on.
All right, thank you so much, Professor Ikechukwu. Just very quickly, when the Ibadan summit happened some weeks back and there was a conversation around opposition parties coming together, it seemed like that was the stimulant that the next election needed to make it competitive. Now with two of those members, at least the people that went to the Ibadan summit, have now moved to the NDC, do you not think it would further split the votes? Would it not be better, like you've talked about, a rainbow coalition, even though there's a lot of conversation around Obi and Kwankwaso defecting? Is it enough to give them a fighting chance in 2027 based on the fact that they would perhaps might need more in terms of support structures and grassroots mobilization?
Well, grassroots mobilization is important because it's not been a very strong component of our political activity in the last probably 18 years. Within the first 7 years, there was a lot of grassroots mobilization. The point I'll probably need to keep on the table. 2003 presidential election of the PDP, there were 3 campaign teams moving all over the country, heavily populated. Mobilization was coming from under, and the leaders were now going to meet their people. One team was led by Obi, the chairman. I think that was in 87, probably 2007. One team was led by Abubakar, one team by Obasanjo. You could see a campaign. You could see a people coming out. Later, it all began to deplete. Now, I was part of that campaign. I was part of the 2007 campaign. I was part of the 2011 campaign. And the 2024, which of course I only took part tangentially because of a personal matter I had to deal with. But not as a member of the PDP, until today, not as a member of any party. Just approached. Strategic political engagement must focus on the grassroots and begin to migrate from there. But what has happened over the last 10 years plus is that there are no longer real members of any of the existing parties. There are people in their local areas who are approached during elections. Okay, Ruben Abati is in charge of Ibadan area. Well, let's budget 1.9 billion for Ibadan. Ruben knows those he has to sort out. So there are no political, ideological...
I claim it. I claim it. Please.
Okay, so Ruben, you want to now be the new man in charge of Ibadan garrison? As Obasanjo just said that time.
Just give me the allocation.
You know what to do with it. So there is deliberate demobilization. No, not deliberate, but demobilization has occurred. Now, with this new development, what the parties have to do is simple. Their campaign is already cut out for them. After speaking at how their campaign is cut out, I'll also speak of how APC can counter some of what looks good for them, for the other side. Now, or if they set up real teams, cool. Look, have a meeting with all your ward chairmen, all your council chairmen, all your local government chairmen. Let them fund, you, the party, fund and drive a simple, what do you call it now? Ballot, not ballot, poll. Simple questions. How much are you buying rice at so and so time? How much are you buying it? Is it true that the rice is now this amount? Tick yes or no. So because people are not literate, so they can respond to that. How much are you spending on transport? Take a vote like that. If you find somebody who can change all these indices for you, would you vote for him? My friend? That's why I say politics is not what the elite is doing. You come and make agreement. The people, if you want to restore the power to them, give them a voice to express an opinion on which we are being told that all problems have been solved. No. Okay, this man will make sure this doesn't happen. In any case, you've tried this one, it's not good. So we're asking you to try somebody else. All of us are suffering it. This is what we want to do. With that poll result, you find America here. The people have spoken. That's at one level. At another level, what the NDC and all the other parties who are claimed to be opposition need to wake up to is that money works in Nigerian politics and everywhere else. And in our own case, money works over time because there's nothing else but money. No more conviction. So you have to spend on what you need to do. For this thing I'm talking about, you have to mobilize the ward chairman, council chairman, let them even meet for the first time as a group. In most states, then, there's nothing that brings them together. Now you're doing mobilization. You take it to the third level. The parties must ask themselves, are we ready to fund? Can we match APC funding? Supposing you finish prancing around all over the place, and APC chieftains and the party itself and its leverage, they go to give the best people you have, each of them $5 million. As they say, Warrior, don't finish with that. So if you fund necessities and you're then saying, look, we are not here to distribute money, then you become believable. So it is possible for the new movement and the new coalition to mobilize sufficiently to make strong impression and probably succeed in 2027.
Okay.
But APC can still do a lot to subvert that. He has instruments of state, among other things. And he may also decide to deploy the same template, and he has the resources for it, yeah.
Do you believe Nigeria's presidency is the best presidency money can buy? Dr. Abati was talking about money.
Sorry, take that again.
Do you believe that Nigeria's presidency is the best presidency money can buy? Dr. Abati was talking about money. And in fact, I want to make it exciting to show you the effect money has played in Nigerian politics. If we give somebody like Dr. Abati, anyway, he'll give me his commission out of it, $4 billion to run for presidency with a political party, you think it will make a dent?
No, $4 billion is too small. Make it $5 billion.
$5 billion.
Just add $1 more billion.
$1 billion.
Sorry,
$5 billion.
But if you give him $5 million, I didn't get the rest.
No, billion.
If you give him $5 billion to run for presidency, do you think he can actually buy the presidency of Nigeria with that amount?
Yes, I have no doubt about that, and I'll tell you why. You have a much lower percentage of people who have conviction anymore. It's, let me carry something and go. I know I won't see them in the next 4 years. So if it's a question of buying the presidency can be bought unless you have enough time, power, ideological power and ideas power to convince so many people that, listen, this money Dr. Abati is giving to you, where did he work to make it? I think it's our money that he stole. And I think his guilty conscience is making him to give some of it to you, so they allow him to continue. Therefore, go and collect the money. It belongs to you. But vote somebody you know that will do good. Let me ask you, if they come to your family, your 5 brothers and 7 sisters in the extended family, and they say, we need somebody to go and speak for us in the village square. Let us send somebody from this family who knows the problems, who will not go there and they'll make him say what is not in our interest, and who will be taken seriously. You will not send your brother who gave you money. You send the one that you know that when he goes to the village square, respect will come to the family. Other villagers will get their entitlement and people will be happy. There won't be thieves, there won't be unemployed boys. If that kind of logic is brought in as the campaign, You can spend $10 billion. And there was this, the Bantus in East Africa, who have a culture, you will get the response of a Bantu. I won't do it. You say, why? Ibibi, meaning it is bad. Who would drive people to that level of conviction? It is doable. Because I speak from experience in regard to a program we ran for one state government. But it's a youth development program. By the time we finished, I had personally 5,131 phone numbers, 20 from every ward. What was the issue? 20 something from every ward. What was the basic argument? If you behave differently, your life will be different. And we ran it. Senatorial district, 1 week per senatorial district. A senator, though now late, lost his seat. It was the boys who were to do the looting for him that brought out the 16 ballot boxes and said, based on this program, and also based on the fact that this man has gone before, we don't think he should be our next senator. Dr. Ikechukwu is the current president of NIPR. Go and ask him, because we did that program together. So, and what did it took us less than 6 months.
Prof, one would
Sorry?
have thought that
The audio is a bit low.
hunger should have pushed people
Oh,
to
okay.
this place of realization. But it looks as though the hunger
You said that
is not
hunger?
beating
I didn't get that, Rufai. Sorry?
I said one would have thought that hunger
Sorry,
should
please,
have
can you just
pushed people. Hunger, poverty, deprivation should have pushed people to a place of realization. But you don't see that point of realization. Everybody still goes for the money. And that's why I hypothetically put that Dr. Abati's $5 billion presidency run forward for you to be able to tackle this matter. One would have thought hunger should have pushed them to the place that my life has not been better. Okay. So what can be made to make my life better?
Very briefly, sir, please.
Briefly, sir.
My take on that is that you are not talking about hunger. There's no hunger. A man who is unconscious is not hungry, he's unconscious. People are clobbered from all sides. They can't pay school fees, they can't pay transport. Their salary is the same and the costs are going up. And then you say, oh, there's palliative, distributing rice, and you get a 5 kilogram bag of rice, which if you have a medium-sized family, you eat in one day. Now, that is nice. So from a state of coma, something is even entering your mouth. Your brain has not engaged. Therefore, we haven't gotten to the point where many people are sufficiently hungry to say what is causing this hunger. The situation is there.
All right.
And you're not talking about, you're talking about in... Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Professor Ikechukwu and Rufai,
All right.
the way you people have been attaching my name to billions this morning,
All right.
$1 billion, the way you have been adding my name to Joy is coming, Joy is coming.
All right. We need to go. Thank you so much, Professor Ikechukwu. We're very grateful. Dr. Mati, don't forget your people. That's all we'll say. Thank you very much. But